My favorite time of the month, our monthly chat with LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell, joining us live in studio. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, Chief, as always, we have a lot of questions for you. And first, we want to start by asking you about what happened this morning. We had a barricade situation in Pacoima where there was a burglary suspect. We want to talk about the potential dangers officers face when encountering a situation like this. I say this because the family in the home told officers that there were firearms inside the home. And of course, we saw SWAT surrounding the home, on the perimeter. Talk about the dangers they face.
Right. Yeah, generally you get a situation like this, the first thing we're thinking of is how do we protect those that are directly involved, those that are on the perimeter, and those are in the surrounding areas. So a typical situation like this, the immediate home would be evacuated, and then the houses immediately surrounding that home would be evacuated. We'd have a perimeter set up by patrol officers initially. If SWAT responds as they did in this case, they would then replace the patrol officers on the perimeter and then put together a tactical plan to be able to establish a rapport with the suspect if possible. As part of the SWAT package that rolls out on a case like this, we have a crisis negotiation team. We have psychologists who are part of that package as well. So we put together as comprehensive an approach as we can to be able to resolve it peacefully always. And time is generally on our side unless the suspect does something to endanger the people on the perimeter, the people in the house. And certainly if it becomes a hostage situation, it's treated differently than a different level of urgency.
Luckily that didn't happen this morning.
No,
Suspect arrested.
And every peaceful resolution, as is the case the vast majority of the time. And we're thankful for that. You don't often hear about that, so we're thankful this morning that people get to see when it works out the way it should.
Absolutely. I do want to ask you, it's a question that we've been looking at and trying to tackle. Nationally, numbers are down for violent crime. Here in Los Angeles, the homicide rate is the lowest it's been in decades. Of course, we do see things like this morning, there's a burglary suspect apprehended. What is driving the overall rate of this decline, and why are people not feeling safer?
Yeah, great question. I can't speak to the national picture. It is down. Violent crime homicides are down nationally, and probably many reasons for that coming together at one point. I can talk locally here that we try and be as strategic as we can, target the places where crime is most likely to happen, be able to use analytics to put limited resources in the right places at the right time of day, right day of week, and to be able to work then with our community partners. We have tremendous relationships here locally with federal, state, and local law enforcement partners, as well then as community organizations that are so critical to it. We use intervention workers on the streets to help be able to, when you have a shooting incident and it's gang related, to be able to figure out where is the payback likely to be, and to be able to respond there to minimize any impact that would have otherwise.
So it's not whack-a-mole. You're strategic about it.
It's strategic as we can be, right?
Okay.
All right, Chief, we've been talking about the issue of, getting to hire more police officers. You need more police officers.
Absolutely.
What continues to be the challenge here?
Yeah, for post-2020, people didn't want to be police officers. The profession had been demonized nationally, and we're recovering from that now. Our recruitment is up 27%, which is good. So we've turned morale around largely in the organization. Our best recruiters are our own people. And so they're back and encouraging those loved ones that they have to apply and to be part of the solution here. The challenge we had too within the city family was the time it took personnel department to be able to do the selection process. We were losing a lot of good candidates to other departments who were more nimble, be able to make a job offer before we were even at that stage. And then ultimately, we've largely fixed that. We fixed the recruiting, and now it's a budget issue. We're in the budget year with the worst deficit we've had in the history of the city, with $1 billion deficit. We're a large part of the city budget, so we're impacted heavily by that. Recently, the council approved the hiring of 410 new officers for this fiscal year, which is, we're very thankful for that, but we're going to lose between 550 and 600. So it's a net deficit of about 200 a year.
That's not the direction you want to be going.
No, not 2 years before the Olympics.
Especially with the big events coming up here in Los Angeles.
We've got the World Cup just in a few months. LAPD just expanded its drone first responder program. Can you talk a little bit about that and what protections are in place for the public?
We're as transparent as we can be on that. We've looked at a lot of other jurisdictions that have used drone as a first responder. Probably the ones that in California that were right out front on this pioneers were Chula Vista, Torrance, Redondo Beach, and Beverly Hills, Santa Monica as well. So we've watched what happened there. We learned from their experiences, and we put together a program now that is transparent. You can go on our website and track the path of the drones that have been flying. They've flown, and I have it here, they've flown almost 3,400 flights since the pilot program started, resulting in 84 arrests. They get over a scene before a black and white can get there. They have a video downlink that goes to the command post or the real-time crime center eventually, and they're able then to direct resources, be able to capture somebody leaving the scene of whatever crime.
Well, that's what kind of crimes are you seeing?
All sorts. Anything you would send a police car to, we can send a drone to. They get there very quickly. They're basically silent, so the suspects don't know they're there, and we can capture if the suspect is armed, if the suspect's leaving the scene, direction to travel. It's tremendous for us as far as capturing evidence, as well as being tactically helpful to the officers who are responding.
Does it matter if it's a misdemeanor or a felony?
Doesn't matter.
Any crime?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Well, I was saying AI, not going to replace police officers, but there's technology being used to help supplement.
Be a supplement for sure.
Anything that can help, right?
Yeah.
Chief, thank you. Appreciate you being here.